guys, got another Raptor video for you guys. At this point, I've got the truck 2 weeks ago, but of that, about a week of it was spent at Best Buy Paint Protection Film away from me getting some PPF. So I've had it for about a week of that and got nearly 1,200 miles on it. So we'll just call it the 1,000-mile review so far. Nearly 1,200 miles may not seem like a lot, and it's not, but it is certainly enough to get some impressions on it. Some first impressions, we'll call them, some things that I've learned about the truck. Most of it, of course, being good. A couple of things that I picked up on that are less than ideal, but certainly just something I'd just mention, just since we're doing an update. Real quickly, let me pan over to the other garage, simply because I was getting asked a lot if I still have the SVT GT500, and most certainly I do. Still have the red, white, and blue all together, just a little separate because the truck would not fit in this garage. So back to the Raptor. Again, not trying to make a analytical review and pros and cons list here, but I guess just to go through the first impressions, let's just talk about what I've noticed. Let's start with the less than positive side of things. I don't want this to sound naggy or complaining, because I certainly still love this thing like crazy. You guys would know that, but okay, rather than beating that drum, let's just go ahead and get into it. We'll start with the less than ideal things. Something I noticed 1,200 miles in, from the beginning all the way to still happening now, is every now and then a start is kind of delayed. Delayed to start, or a better way to put it is extended cranking sound. It's not totally consistent, but maybe it's got a little bit of rhyme and reason. It's hard to explain. If it's a cold start, it starts up normally. If it's a very, very warm start, like you turn it off and back on, it's usually pretty fine. It's something about when it gets up to temperature and it sits in a parking lot. Let's say you ran into a Home Depot real quickly, or you spend an hour at the gym, whatever the case is, and then you get back to it. Not all the time, but maybe 1 in 7 startups has like this extended cranking sound. And thankfully I happened to get one on video. And in fact, I only parked this truck maybe 30 minutes ago, so maybe I could get to happen now, but maybe not. Actually, right on cue. How about that? That's actually kind of rare to have it happen on cue, because I try to capture that, and I just did just then. So I have another one on video as well when I picked it up from Best Buy Paint Protection. And at first I didn't know if it was a weak battery, just because maybe it's been sitting in a holding lot for a while. That's not the case. It's cranking a lot, and it's just an extended cranking sound. And this is something that's been on the 2023s as well, and it seems to carry it over to some 24s. I don't think it's all the Rs, otherwise more people would be talking about it, but it's definitely very, very common. And so a lot of forums are trying to get to the bottom of it. Some people are saying it's a tuning thing. Some people are saying it's a fuel pump. And the most I'm hearing is it might be a vapor lock thing, because it's a very weird temperature specific thing. Some people have said it might be tied to how much gas is in it, but that's not true. I've had it happen with 30 miles to empty, and this is a half tank. I had it happen with a full tank. So maybe vapor lock, maybe tuning, I don't know. Some people said they had it and then had their fuel pump replaced, and it hasn't happened since. The thing with that though is not all dealerships are wanting to do that, because what they claim is that they can't duplicate the issue. And so if they can't duplicate the issue, they can't cover something under warranty. So most people, from what I'm hearing or picking up on the forum, is we just kind of deal with it. Again, I happen to capture that one on video, which is kind of rare. I didn't expect to, but that's the circumstance. If you're driving it around, it gets up to temperature, you park it, give it, it could be 15, 20 minutes, it could be an hour and a half. Somewhere in that window, 1 in 7 times-ish, that extended cranking sound will happen. And from what I take, because not all dealerships have a remedy for it right now, people are just kind of dealing with it, and they're kind of fine with it for now, but maybe we'll come to a resolution. As long as it's not really damaging anything, then I suppose it's fine just to have a delayed start every now and then. Something I'm not the biggest fan of is some of my driver settings don't get remembered when I hop back in the vehicle. So for example, the GT500, I like it in the stiffer sport steering, and with the exhaust valves open. Now I won't let it start with track, exhaust valves, the most open it could get, but at least it gives me like, sport or something like that. And so it remembers that. For some reason, unless I'm doing something wrong, it remembers nothing here. I try to leave the steering wheel in its sport setting, a stiffer steering feel, because I personally like that. And even that alone, each time I get back in the truck, it's back to normal. Normal steering, normal suspension, normal exhaust, everything. So it just doesn't remember that, unfortunately. And so each time I go into it, I have to manage the exhaust the way I want it and the steering feel the way I want it. This might not be worth noting because it's only happened twice, and one of them was like the day I got it. But if I have passengers in the rear, it might think there's more in the rear than there really is. So one time I had 2 passengers in the back seats. but no one in the middle seat. And for some reason, I thought someone was in the middle seat and it wanted that seatbelt on. Otherwise, the truck was going to be beeping the entire drive. So we had to buckle the seatbelt, even though there was no one in the middle seat, because it detected weight in the middle. That's happened twice, and I've had people in the back a couple times. And last time I did was 2 days ago, and it did not happen. So interesting thing there. Now this one just might apply to me as my personal preference, I suppose, but I expected a little bit more volume out of it. This truck, in my opinion, is actually pretty quiet. Even if I put it in the Baja exhaust mode, which they say is for off-road use only, as if it's too loud to be street legal. Even in Baja mode, this is a pretty quiet exhaust. I am not gonna lie. Now, I don't know what I was expecting per se, but it's got the same heart and engine as the GT500. I know it's tuned differently, but it sounds not anything like it. I think even the GT500 with the closed exhaust valves sound, in my opinion, slightly better than this thing. A couple of things I want to talk on as far as quality control. You know, unfortunately, this day and age, no matter how much you spend on a vehicle, whether it's from an exotic brand or someone like Ford, Chevy, whoever, there's going to be a couple things. This is treated really no different than any F-150. I know it's the Raptor and I know it's the Raptor R, but really any F-150 is going to be pretty much touched by the same hands, treated the same way. So that being said, they are still production vehicles, and so we're going to see a couple things. Nothing stands out like crazy egregious with this one, so that's good. But first and foremost, I don't know if you guys can tell already. Let me know when you see it. But this tow hook is a little crooked. This is more parallel, and that one's kind of at that slant, as you can see. There, nice and parallel. Climbing on the inside. A lot of people are saying there's like a lot of upholstery issues. Thankfully, I don't have much of that. The only thing I've noticed that doesn't really bug me a whole lot is this right here, the little lip you get right here. These are not red leather anymore. These are like a kind of tougher material, but this is nice and flush. This upholstery kind of lips up here, like a little ramp on the left side. Not the end of the world, but you know, just a little something. Another thing, this isn't like an issue per se, but kind of a, I don't know, a little attention to detail, I suppose, on the final inspection of a vehicle. But when I got this truck, it was brand new, and so I got the luxury of pulling all the plastics off of the interior. The seat covers, everything. So I knew this was a brand new truck, right? It had like 30 miles on it, and I was peeling everything off. As I was taking the rubber mats to put them down in the truck, and I looked under the seats, my girlfriend was helping me do that, and she found a Werther's Original wrapper under the seat. So that didn't happen at the dealership because I got this, I like pretty much intercepted this thing. That was in manufacturing. So someone was eating a Werther's Original and kept the wrapper under the seat of the driver's side seats. So kind of funny, not damaging, but you know, come on, just candy wrappers in a, you know, six-figure truck, kind of funny. That's about it for any of the less than ideal things I picked up on. The other thing is just not something directly from Ford or anything like that, but this is a cool carbon fiber key cover that goes on the fob. And when I used that, I was not getting any range from my actual fob. I would try to remote start it from more than 5 feet away and it would not respond. So yeah, just a little side note there. I think on like a video or 2 videos ago, I said that I just got this. I thought they were cool. I take back my recommendation. Do not get these carbon fiber key covers on Amazon. As cool as they look, your range is like cut to like 5 feet. All right, so I know this video started off on a less than positive note, but man, there are some positives to get to. So let's go ahead and climb in for all of that. All right, first off, I'm curious. Let's try to start it up again. See if we go 0 for 2 here. No, that's totally normal. Again, it's like, oh, and then I had the option to return to sport. Will it remember the settings that, and I'm too late. Okay, I tried to go back to sport mode, but it gave me like 2 seconds to decide. But the steering stayed in normal mode, so each time I have to go to sport mode. Sometimes I just get lazy and I just keep the normal stuff. But I just wish it remembered some of that. All right, enough of the pouty stuff. There is so much good about this truck, just I picked up on in the first 1,200 miles. Man, I like this thing. And that's to say, I like a lot about it that I didn't know I would like. I bought this thing because it's a Raptor, so I know the capabilities Raptor should have. And it's got the GT500 engine, which is a phenomenal engine. So it's a high horsepower Raptor. So I got it for that. But the things I didn't expect to like, the things I guess I didn't anticipate, is just how luxurious and the ease of driving and the pleasure of just driving, even slowly, the pavement princess stuff, if you will, even though we'll do much more than that, I promise. But that makes me think, why would you want to drive anything else? Okay, maybe fuel economy, I will say. I didn't even put that in the less than ideal segment because I already expected that, so who cares? But otherwise, it's just a very, very easy driving truck. Like, oh my gosh. Let's just try to break that down. It's a really smooth driving truck in the sense that the power delivery, fantastic. Very smooth and linear, even if you're not accelerating hard. I'm just saying if you're coming off of like a stop sign or red light, it just picks up nicely. The brakes feel good. The steering feels nice. The suspension on a non-off-road setting, just on the road, feels really, really nice. I mean, planted enough like you wouldn't expect this truck to be, but when you go over a speed bump at 35, you just glaze over it. If you find a pothole on the road, if you have to jump a curb or something, it is not jolting or jarring. The thing is just like a cloud. It's just so nice. This has still got the 10-speed transmission from Raptors before it, but something happened on this one, certainly. It's calibrated differently. It's tuned different. I don't know what it is. Very, very smooth. On automatic mode, up the gears, down the gears, you kind of hear them, maybe if the exhaust valves are slightly more open, but you really don't feel them. It's a really, really smooth transmission. Even the other stuff, like the reasons you don't even buy a Raptor, but like the audio quality is amazing when you connect your phone, Bluetooth, whatever, or Apple CarPlay, or you're just taking a Bluetooth call. You have a microphone right here, speakers right here, and it sounds like you're in a podcast booth. The road noise is so quiet on this thing. They did a little things in 2024 to make that a little bit better as well, but road sound, pretty minimal. And when you take a call, as long as you got good reception, it just sounds really nice. Like a podcast booth, like I said. I really like it. Well, maybe I'm just coming off a 2014, so a 10-year-old truck. Maybe that's why my impressions are just over the moon with this thing, luxury-wise, but it seems like too nice of a truck for me. We'll go ahead and get into the reason you get the R. The power is pretty freaking awesome. In fact, I'm going to tell you about something that just happened about an hour ago. I was driving and I pulled out of a parking lot, and immediately there was a car maybe 200 feet behind me who just assumed I was going to be a slow truck. So he immediately got in another lane and got stuck behind another truck. And little did he know, I was going to floor it. And it's so funny to be in something that weighs over 6,000 pounds, is the size of this thing, is a Raptor, but it goes, honestly, I don't know the specs, but similar to like a GT350. It accelerates real well, as we would expect, 720 horsepower. But I pulled out of this parking lot, and this person immediately assumed, oh, slow truck. It got behind someone else. I floored it, and then they got stuck behind that truck for a while. So just having this like almost tossability and this pulling like force, but in a big vehicle, is something I'm still wrapping my head around. It goes like a sports car, but it handles like a truck. It feels like a truck everywhere else. It's kind of the do-wall. And that's almost like a party trick, because you could just pull away from people really quickly in a big truck. It's pretty cool. And some of the other stuff that I knew the truck had, I just didn't realize how much I would appreciate it. But this 360 cam, this is not exclusive to the Raptor R, Raptors in general. In fact, not even Ford. Many vehicles have this. But hey, I'm just saying, I'm not used to it, and this just made the ease of driving just that much better. But rear view camera is not bad. Nothing crazy's happened in the last couple of years of rear view backup cameras. Nothing, 4K or nothing. But the 360 works so well. I'm convinced it's like a drone overhead. The responsiveness, how well it just maps out my driveway or any obstacles, makes this so nice. And if you put it in drive, obviously that can go away, but this right here will pop it back up, so you could pull forward and use all this to parallel park, all that stuff, much easier. I didn't anticipate using that as much as I do, but man, that makes life pretty easy as well. Now, because the truck only recently is technically broken in, even though I still want to get it oil changed and all that before I go nuts, I haven't messed with any of the drive modes a whole lot. So we'll go into sport mode, which is going to go into 4-wheel drive. If I was off-road, I'd probably keep rear-wheel drive just so we could kick the tail end out and stuff, but we're on the road. 4-wheel drive is engaged. Steering gets a little bit heavier. Yeah, so sport mode now, but what I'll still do is put the exhaust in Baja. I said it before and I'll still say it. Baja mode and sport mode exhaust sound pretty much the exact same to me. There's only a tiny difference from normal and Baja. Quiet is quiet, I will say. But yeah, the exhaust modes don't seem to be changing all that much. And conveniently, there's going to be a TRX to our left. But here, we'll go ahead and gun a little bit. Just a quick pull. And then since it's in sport mode, it kind of keeps the revs kind of high, just because thinks we want to continue gunning it. We'll let the TRX have this one. We're going to do a quick turnaround here. But overall, if I just kept it like, boring, mundane stuff, the visibility is just amazing. Dual panel sunroof makes this thing look way larger inside than it is. just overall, I just didn't expect the luxury feel to be as nice as it is. But the fact that it's a Raptor, it still does Raptor things, I'm going to eventually have to get over that and just treat it like the truck it is. And, you know, I'm going to get muddy shoes in here. That's just going to happen. Some people are going to say that's like sacrilege. Why would you do that? Some people would be awfully disappointed if this thing didn't get filthy. It is a truck. Not only that, it is a Raptor at the end of the day. So I'll get over that, and we're going to start being on it pretty good. But yeah, that's, well, you can look at it as a pro. It's just a very luxurious feeling truck on the road. I'll tell you what, let's go ahead and put it back in normal mode. Going back to rear wheel drive here. Looks like it's ready to go. But yeah, so it's just nice. You can still put it around on the road. You could drive it around even like a sports car, like I had said, knowing that it can still do the off-road things that Raptors are known to do, especially with the new dual live valve suspension that people are starting to finally get their first impressions on off-road. So yeah, really excited to see more about that. Let's go ahead and open the exhaust valves a little bit more. So that's a little bit more noticeable there when you're on throttle a little bit. I was able to hear that a little bit better. Oh, another thing is the cruise control with the lane keep assist, hands-free. So it says to not do that without your hands on the steering wheel. We're gonna go ahead and break that rule just a little bit, but every like few seconds I'll tell you to grab the steering wheel like that. I think I didn't like that particular road, so it's a little bit more loud that way. We'll turn that back off. But yeah, just generally speaking, a very easy truck to drive. Still a big truck, don't get me wrong, but it shrinks itself. Like I said, the camera, 360 camera to park better, all that stuff. It's just really nice. So even the lane keep assist advanced cruise control, I never thought I would use that because I want to drive my own stuff, but I'm not gonna lie, I would throw it on there if I had to reach over to, like, you know, the footwell of the passenger seat because I dropped something. It actually does a really, really good job. So yeah, it could actually come in handy more than I realized. So again, I bought the Raptor because I wanted a Raptor. I wanted to drive it. It's a visceral truck, but it's also a good daily driver if you want it to be. But all of a sudden I just got spoiled like a baby and all of its like luxury features. And yeah, just not something I thought would happen. But again, that's coming from someone who had a decade-old Gen 1 Raptor, and that's got all the amenities I would thought I've ever needed. But something about now that I have this, it's actually quite nice, but I definitely still wanted a V8, and boy, do I got one. All right, I'm gonna do my best to set my camera down here and try to record a little bit of revs. Again, the exhaust valves should be technically open, but we shall see. So a good tone, I will say, like, I am not complaining about it. The tone, very much so a V8, just, you know, wants to clear its throat a little bit more is all. Now, if I do anything, it won't be anytime soon just because, you know, I'm not complaining, but I would definitely want to still retain the exhaust valves being able to close and shut up on occasion, like if I'm going somewhere early or coming back late, and to be able to quiet it down would be nice. But I thought the Baja mode, the off-road only mode, I thought that would be, you know, pretty loud, but, you know, it's clean sounding. It sounds very good. Just in person, there's like this muffledness to it. But again, we are nitpicking. This thing's just so freaking nice, guys. I'm just so excited to showcase it more, especially off-road, which would, if I imagine correctly, that should be about the next video. I don't think I'd make another impression on-road video until I get to have some fun off-road. So that's what we'll do. So yeah, just a real quick thing. Semi-short list, but again, that's only because it's been, you know, what, 1,200 miles, just less. And so impressions are short, but that's what I got. And I can tell this is going to be a truck of mine for a very, very long time. So absolutely loving it. Thought I'd jump on here for a quick update. Hopefully it's helpful. And if you guys have any input on any of my points, the extended cranking or anything, if you guys have experience like that, let me know. But in any case, guys, I will continue to update you guys with the ownership experience. Not only that, but I got a couple comments, and you guys are totally right in regards to don't forget about the cars as well. Totally right. And so what I'll do before too long is finally make the comparison videos I've been wanting to do. I made a comparison between the SVT GT500 and the GT350 a little over a year ago, 2 years ago, something like that. But I want to make the video between the two GT500s, SVT and the new GT500, and then the two S550s, the GT350 and the new GT500, compare two cars at a time. So those are two more videos that I'll end up making before too long. But that does it for now. Thanks so much for watching. See you guys next time.